Hello and welcome, fellow film buffs. I'm Zach Droll, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow cinephile, Hunter Vanalira.
Snoochie boochies.
We are the box office losers. Each and every week, we deep dive into the movie spirit to watch and review any and all films that ever grace the silver screen or your TV screen. This week, we are talking about Dogma.
Yeah, dude. This movie is something.
Also, before we fully get into it, let me just open up my can of Monster, because I am not awake.
Yeah, no, Wednesdays it's going to be easier for me to record earlier because I have obligations with my boy who started streaming recently to do co-op with him for a little bit longer. So I'm doing a way out this week. And then I don't know what I'm doing next week, but I might be free. It all depends on if we finish the game or not. So I don't think we're going to finish it in 4 hours, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Zach, what have you been up to, man?
Well, I don't know really. I've just been tired.
Yeah, how's work going with your new job?
I don't really. I just help my dad with papers. That's not really a new job.
It's still new from what you were doing before, bro.
It's pretty much just me staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, getting home and falling asleep.
That's no fun.
That's all I do. So, update on Mortal Kombat from last week.
Mortal Kombat!
Saw that with my friends in theaters.
Yeah, how'd you like it? In theaters.
So much better, because we also saw it with just us in the theater.
Oh, that's sick.
So we were able just to scream, laugh,
Yeah.
and just like talk about the movie as we were watching it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, theaters are doing
much
pretty
better.
cool. Theaters are doing pretty good at limiting seats and sales, and not a lot of people actually want to go to the theaters to see certain movies. So
Especially when you
you'll
can watch this one for free.
Yeah, exactly. You'll likely get movies with no people in the theaters. Like, we just had a guest on my comic book show. His name's John, and he said that he's been going to the movie theaters. Like, he's trying to go about once a week. He's fully vaccinated, so he's good. But he's trying to go about once a week, and he's seen nobody like 3 times, and he's like, he loves it. But he's like, no one's in the theater, so he just hangs out and he just laughs and he just has fun. So yeah, what you said sounds awesome. I kind of want to do that for something stupid. Maybe we'll do that for Space Jam.
Maybe. Like, it was like with Godzilla v Kong. I saw that with my friends. I think we just had one other group in the theater, but they were like people our age. So I don't think they would have fully cared.
Oh, so you guys were all yelling about stupid Godzilla shit?
We didn't do that because we also were just still respectful moviegoers, so we didn't talk too much. But like versus like when it was Mortal Kombat, it was just us in the theater.
Yeah, you were just going, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, so this film, guys, Dogma, legit like Kevin Smith gave up the streaming rights to this movie, so
Dogma, more like dog shit. Ha ha ha. No, I liked it. Sorry.
I'm indifferent on it, but I'm giving it a slight pass.
Low hanging fruit.
Because of it being a Kevin Smith movie.
So Kevin Smith gave up the streaming rights to this?
Yeah, I think the Weinstein Company, mainly Harvey Weinstein, and I think his brother Bill Weinstein.
Yeah, Miramax Company.
I pretty much just own this movie.
Yeah, Letterboxd says it was on Amazon, but I couldn't find it. It must have been like Amazon Buy, and I was like, I don't want to buy this movie, so I found it somewhere else.
Oh, it's not even on Amazon Buy. You can't even buy it for Prime.
Oh, weird. It must have just
Trust me. I
said it was on Amazon.
If that was the case, I probably would have actually bought this film and instantly regretted it.
Nice.
But yeah, I had to go through legal.com/movie is here.
Oh yeah, I had to do that too with my Fire Stick.
But so let's just jump into this overview. Get into the nitty gritty of this film. I can't wait to talk about the casting.
Oh, the casting is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, it has no right being this stacked and interesting. So Dogma is a 1999 American fantasy comedy film written and directed by none other than the god himself, Kevin Smith.
The god? The goat?
The goat, the god, doesn't matter. The story revolves around two angels who plan to employ an alleged loophole in the Catholic dogma to return to heaven after being cast out by God. But as existence is founded on the principle that God is infallible, their success would prove God wrong, thus undoing all creation. Alas, Scion and two prophets are sent by the... Oh, God. Just the voice of God to stop them.
Metatron.
Yeah, by Metatron.
Alan Rickman.
To stop them. Alan Rickman.
Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, he was good. I don't have a penis.
So, I want to point out one funny thing about the casting. I just want to bring up Matt Damon as Loki.
Oh, yeah.
For anybody who didn't know this, in Thor Ragnarok, when Tom Hiddleston's Loki was portraying Thor's father, Odin, he had like the scene portraying of when Loki was dying, and who played Loki in that play version? Hunter.
'Twas Matt Damon himself.
That was when I was watching the film, I was like, wait a minute, didn't Matt Damon play like a play version of Loki in Thor Ragnarok?
Dude, guess who's coming back for Thor Love and Thunder? Matt Damon.
No.
They're bringing back Matt Damon as Loki, Liam Hemsworth as Thor. And then they're adding Melissa McCarthy as Hela.
I'm so confused. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're playing themselves as actors, acting for people. I find it hilarious.
God. So, I'll read off this cast. It can't be. It's not minus
No, they're
the
all...
one who played Bethany, but I'll get through this cast.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Ish.
So the cast is Ben Affleck as Bartleby, Matt Damon as Loki,
Larry.
Linda Fortino as Bethany. Oh, I was going by Bethany. Everyone will.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do last names. Salma Hayek as Serendipity, Jason Lee as Azrael, Jason Mewes as Jay, Alan Rickman as the Metatron, Chris Rock as Rufus, Kevin Smith as Silent Bob, and George motherfucking Carlin as Cardinal
Ignatius Gillick. And then we had Alanis Morissette as God's embodiment.
Yes.
Because Metatron is God's voice, so...
But, man, George Carlin, Chris Rock, Alan Rickman...
Dude, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck?
Yeah, weren't they coming off of, Good Will Hunting at this time?
Matt Damon was, yeah. Ben Affleck was coming off of Chasing Amy, I think. No, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck was in Good Will Hunting, but you know what I mean.
Like, God, this, I want more Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
I wrote the same thing.
Well together. They mesh so well together.
Yeah, we need to watch more Ben Affleck movies. He's pretty good, overall, as an actor. You just never think about it.
Oh, yeah, and to answer your question, no, I've not seen The Accountant.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's nothing, ridiculous. It's just like John Wick, but with autism. If that sounds appropriate. That's what it is. That's what it is. Ben Affleck is an accountant who has high-functioning autism, and it's just really fucking awesome. It's a really good movie.
So they're doing a sequel. Bernthal's I've seen the movie, but I've only seen the last minute of it because that's the movie that always plays just before AEW Dynamite. so I've seen just the last minute of the movie every single time. So yeah. Hello?
I'm here. I was just listening. I was waiting for you.
No, you went silent. I you normally would pick up something.
Nah, I was waiting for you to finish what you were saying.
All right. Got me scared there for a minute, dude.
Got you scared.
All right. The budget of this film was $10 million.
Yeah, man, not bad.
And the return from the box office was $44 million.
Also pretty solid, considered not a flop.
Considered not a flop. in most people's
At least
eyes.
commercially.
Yeah.
It made its money back. Miramax didn't lose anything in their investments. So that's pretty good.
That is true. So, Hunter, kick us off with some notes.
It was kind of hard to find some of these notes. Not a lot of them were on
Wikipedia?
our totally valid source of information.
Dope.
Yeah, but I did find a lot from IMDb's little trivia section. But the first bit here was actually on our totally valid piece of source material.
Yeah, so take it with a grain of salt.
The film's irreverent treatment of Catholicism and the Catholic Church triggered considerable controversy even before its opening. The Catholic League denounced it as blasphemy, and organized protests delayed its release in many countries and led to at least 2 death threats against Smith. Dude, they don't even treat Catholicism that bad. All they do is introduce Buddy Christ, and that's it. Everything else is pretty rock solid.
And
Kevin Smith is Catholic.
Rufus.
Oh, yeah. But Kevin Smith is Catholic himself.
Yeah.
He was just doing little funsies on it. I don't know why people were so fucking crybabies about it. I hate whatever.
Well, because like I think because they just saw the title and probably saw like the synopsis. They're like, oh well,
The synopsis would definitely give it some problems. I would say.
Yes, that's mainly what it is.
The synopsis is fucking 2 angels want to blow up the world because they're mad at God or fallen angels or whatever they were.
And one of them is Matt Damon, and the other one is Ben Affleck.
Barry and Larry, baby.
Hell yeah. So, before Smith began work on the movie Clerks, he began noting down an idea for a film called God. During his brief period in film school, he essentially wrote the scene introducing Rufus, but this version did not feature Jay and Silent Bob. During the development of Clerks, Smith continued to jot down ideas for his God project, including having the main character be a high school jock. The concept of the 13th apostle, Rufus, and the muse named Serendipity, but Smith didn't have a story to work off of. By the time Clerks had picked up for distribution, Smith began writing the first draft for the film he called the Project God. He called the Project God was inappropriate, but he retitled it to Dogma. The first draft was completed in August of 1994 with 148 pages accomplished. Jesus Christ.
That's a lot.
That is. The more additions, the high school protagonist was changed to a stripper named Bethany, who meets Jay and Bob at a nudie booth. Azrael, or known throughout the script as the Shadow Figure, was introduced in the final 30 pages, and Bethany blew up the church in order to not let Bartleby and Loki pass through the archway.
Yeah, maybe not that. Maybe that would have been not so good.
Yeah.
Blowing up a church.
Yeah.
I understand where some of the controversy comes from.
Well, it's not like that was in the synopsis of blowing up a church. It was just killing the angels.
Yeah, and that was the problem. They were just like, ooh. I wish we got more of that scene, too. I'll talk about it in my notes, but yeah.
After Smith and Clerks producer Scott Moiser reread the draft, they decided that they didn't want Dogma to be their sophomore film. They didn't want to tackle a bigger scale project until they felt ready to do it, despite including the line Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma at the end of Clerks. Smith moved to Universal Studios in order to develop his next film, Mallrats.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh man, I see this as.
Could you imagine if
to,
Dogma was his second film?
Oh, Smith would not be where he is today.
Or would he be in a different position? Would he not have continued his View Askew universe?
He probably would not continued.
If they just did this with Jay and Silent Bob and then went, okay. Or it would have just ended up with the trilogy with Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob, and then one more film to end the Jay and Silent Bob trilogy.
Yeah. It's just like
Maybe Chasing Amy would have been the end, but they would have referenced like gods and aliens and monsters and shit.
yeah. But in my opinion though, I see Dogma as like the second weakest film next to Chasing Amy, of course.
You see Chasing Amy as the weakest? I don't see it as the strongest, don't get me wrong. But I see it a little bit stronger than some of his other films. And don't get me wrong, dude, we haven't watched Clerks 2 yet. Or Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy animated film. That movie is butt cheeks.
Well, I remember, like, also, like, when it comes down to Clerks 2, we got that very, very, very racist scene.
Oh, the porch scene? I love that scene.
Yep, the porch scene. Oh, God.
That's a great
I'm not looking
scene.
forward to, like, talking about that.
No. It's a bit risky, yeah?
It is. So, do you want to pick up now, Hunter?
Yeah, during Mallrats production, Smith revisited the Dogma script and made some changes. Bethany's job went from stripper to an abortion clinic. Okay. And included an orangutan for Jay and Silent Bob to hang out with. Why? In 1996,
well, because they were walking down the road with one in Mallrats.
Yeah. And then also in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they have another monkey.
Mm-hmm.
In 1996, he dropped the orangutan and reworked Bethany to be played by his now girlfriend, Joey Lauren Adams. During that time, he was writing Chasing Amy and got Ben Affleck to agree to do both projects. Fucking got him. After Chasing Amy was released to critical and box office success, Smith felt confident enough to make Dogma. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the notes that we got from our totally reliable source. And now we're hopping on to some of the trivia and little fun bits before we move on to our plot. So.
Cool.
No, Lola, don't even think about it. No, not for you. So, Jason Mewes had the entire script memorized before rehearsal. When asked why, he said it was because he didn't want to anger Alan Rickman and because Kevin Smith told him aside before rehearsals began and said he needed to be on his best behavior and to bring his A game to the set. This is his first film with a huge cast list. Yeah, well, besides just getting Alan Rickman, it's a huge cast list altogether, too.
Hey, I give Jason credit for that because I think wasn't during this time too like Jason was doing
heroin.
Yeah,
he was he was all up in the heroin game. There's a note about it in here somewhere I think, and if not, I'll talk about it.
So unbeknown to the protesters, Kevin Smith joined one of the Catholic groups that protested his film. He managed to get interviewed by a reporter who recognized him. Through Smith's though Smith managed to stay incognito by giving his friend's name as his own.
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson also presented at the protest rally, and telling her that he is often mistaken for Clerks 1994. During the interview, Smith, as Johnson, also made the comment that he kind of liked his that he kind of liked Kevin Smith's first film. Bitch.
You're a bitch.
Fuck you.
Alright, where were we?
The Buddy Christ.
Yeah, they like Kevin Smith's first film. So the Buddy Christ statue that was used in the film is on display as of mid-2001 at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, a comic book store in Red Bank, New Jersey, owned by Kevin himself. Replicas of the statue are on sale at the store and have become one of the store's biggest selling items. I want one.
It's also the meme Jesus.
It is the meme Jesus. If you look up on the interwebs and you see meme Jesus, that's it's Buddy Christ right there.
Yep, it's from Dogma.
It's fucking. I didn't know it was from Dogma. I just thought it was like something Kevin Smith had because it was funny. But yeah, having it be from Dogma, that's fucking cool.
Oh, I didn't even know it was from Dogma until
they unveil it and you're like, whoa.
No, it wasn't until it wasn't like the first viewing, but when I was originally watching stuff about Dogma, because a lot of times you hear Dogma is not one of the better Kevin Smith films in some regards. Some people say that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see Buddy Christ, you're like, wait a minute, I've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very confused.
Yeah.
But continuing on with our notes though, in an interview discussing his heart attack, Kevin Smith stated that following his heart attack, He was contracted by many people he hadn't spoken to in a long time, including Linda
Fiorentino.
Florentino, who hadn't spoken to since film wrapping. He said he apologized to her over his earlier comments on her being difficult to work with and wishing her role had been casted differently. Smith said, I was thankful to hear from her, and it also gave me a chance to say I'm sorry that I ever said that thing years ago. It gives you a chance to make amends. So that's my favorite one.
Yeah, so there's a note that I didn't include in here that was about her being difficult to work with. Kevin said that some days she wouldn't even talk to him.
Oh.
And, like, why? He's the director of the film and he's your co-star in most of your scenes. I understand making your character, like, the Jesus figure or the Jesus substitute and it being a martyr and having, like, the weirdest dialogue and having his best friend, you know, flirt with you unrelentlessly is annoying on set, but that's all in character. Like, you know, and I understand having someone who's a little unprofessional and doing heroin and while everything's going on is a little weird, but you don't gotta not talk to the director of the fucking film. Anyway, I'm glad Kevin apologized, and she probably apologized too.
So now the plot. It's not going to be the easiest one for you to blow through, Hunter, but
I think I'll do pretty okay. Give me one.
well, it's a lot more paragraphs than what we do when you blow through the paragraph.
It's not much more. I think it's only one more paragraph extra, so it shouldn't be too hard to do. I'm pretty decent at making it seem like it's nothing. So, without further ado, Dogma. So Bartleby and Loki are fallen angels, eternally banished from heaven to Wisconsin for insubordination after an inebriated Loki resigned as the Angel of Death. In a newspaper article that arrives anonymously, the angels discover a way home. Cardinal Ignatius Glick is rededicating his church in Red Bank, New Jersey, in the image of Buddy Christ. Anyone who enters the church during the rededication festivities will receive a plenary indulgence, remitting all sins.
Where the banished angels.
Yeah, but there's no H anyway. Where the banished angels undergo this rite, then die after transmuting into human form, God would have no choice but to allow them re-entry into heaven. They are encouraged by the demon Azrael and the Stignin triplets, 3 teenaged hoodlums who serve Azrael in hell, who took the form of hockey boys.
Mighty Duck fucks.
Yeah. Then we're introduced to Bethany Sloan, a despondent abortion clinic counselor while she attends a service at a church in Illinois. Donations are solicited for a campaign to stop a New Jersey hospital from disconnecting life support on John Doe, Jersey, a homeless man who was beaten by the triplets and is now in a coma. Metatron, a seraph and the voice of God, appears to Bethany in a pillar of fire and explains that he's also smooth, and that if Bartleby and Loki succeed in re-entering heaven, they will overrule the word of God, disproving the fundamentals concept of God's omnipotence and nullifying all of existence. Bethany, aided by 2 prophets, Jay and Silent Bob, must stop the angels and save the universe.
Yeah.
This shit's weird.
The fucking 2 prophets, Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
They have the power.
I don't understand, and they barely bring it up in any of the other films, even though this is canon to the View Askew universe. But
well, like I said, like, isn't this one of one of Kevin Smith's not so favorite films he's done?
He says he doesn't like this one as much as he likes other films, but it's not bad. Where
now
are
a target?
Now a target, Bethany is attacked by the triplets, who are driven off by the 2 foretold prophets. Oh, here they go. Drug-dealing stoners, Jay and Silent Bob. Bethany and the prophets are joined by Rufus, the 13th apostle, and Serendipity, the muse of creative inspiration, now working in a strip club in search of inspiration of her own. Azrael then summons the Golgothan, a vile creature made of human excrement, but Bob immobilizes it with aerosol air freshener because it takes up big stenches or something.
It knocks out big odors.
That's what it is. Big odors. That's so stupid, but it's funny.
Yeah.
You gotta love it, man. Bethany asks.
No, it was
Sorry.
on a train.
I moved my notes. On a train to New Jersey, a drunken Bethany reveals her mission to Barry, who tries to kill her. Bartleby. He goes by Barry in that scene. Bob throws the angels off a train, and Bartleby and Loki now realize the consequences of their scheme. Loki wants no part of destroying all of existence, but Bartleby remains angry at God for his expulsion and for granting free will to humans, while demanding servitude from angels and resolves the proceeds. So this is weird because, yes, what's his face doesn't want
Loki was fucking killing people.
Yeah, Loki's just straight up murdering people half the time. Like, he's just like, alright, time to kill people. And you're like, oh, okay then. Right. So, there's that scene where they're in the, not the courtroom, they're in the office building at Movies, and the corporate office. And they're just doing all this stuff with, their powers and like just explaining what everyone in that room has done, and I'm like, oh my god! And then Matt Damon just kills them all. It's pretty cool. So
yeah,
and then they get to that the church, and then Matt Damon and Bartleby fight. Matt Damon,
which I kind of wish we saw a bit of that.
Yeah, I talk about that in my notes. I'm like, I wish we saw more of that. It's lame that we don't get to see it. So Bethany asks why she has been called upon to save the universe. Why can't God simply do it himself? Metatron admits that God's whereabouts are unknown. He disappeared while visiting New Jersey in human form to play skee-ball. The task falls to Bethany because she now learns she is the last scion, a distant but direct blood relative of Jesus.
Fun.
Yeah, I would be like, no thank you.
No.
Like, pass. So the group fails to persuade Glick to cancel the celebration. Jay steals one of Glick's golf clubs. Their only remaining option is to keep the angels out of the church, but Azrael and the triplets trap them in a bar to prevent them from doing so. Azrael then reveals that he sent the news clippings to the angels. He would rather end all of existence than spend eternity in hell. Bob kills Azrael with the golf club, which Glick had blessed to improve his game. Bethany blesses the bar's sink contents, and the others drown the triplets in holy water. They race to the church where Bartleby has killed Glick, his parishioners, and assorted bystanders, when Loki, who is now wingless and therefore mortal, with a conscience, attempts to stop him, but Bartleby kills him as well. R.I.P.
Holy bartender.
R.I.P. Matt Damon.
The holy bartender.
Yeah, man, the holy bartender. R.I.P. Matt Damon. Jay attempts... Oh my god, the holy bartender. Jay
That finally clicked.
I missed it at first, and I was like, oh no, he's talking about the joke. Jay attempts to seduce Bethany before all of existence ends when he mentions John Doe Jersey. John Doe Jersey. I mixed up the other letters. Bethany finally puts all the clues together. She and Bob race across the street to the hospital as the others try to block Bartleby's path to the church. Bethany disconnects John's life supports, liberating God, but killing herself. She gets struck by lightning or some shit. She's a martyr, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Bartleby reaches the church entrance where he confronts God, manifested in female form, Alanis Morissette, who annihilates him with her voice, which is why she can't talk too much. And she's like Black Bolt from Marvel. Bob arrives with Bethany's lifeless body. God resurrects her and conceives a child. Why? With the last scion within her womb. God, Metatron, Rufus, and Serendipity return to heaven, leaving Bethany and the prophets to reflect on their past and the future. Why did they just make her pregnant?
Just so you know, it's Scion.
I know, I like saying scion, though.
God damn it.
I know it's scion, but scion sounds better.
But, I don't know. They probably just want to, like, make Bethany at this point, like, marry.
Yeah, I get it, but also it's like, what the fuck? So.
It's... Yeah,
it's a little
that was
weird,
the plot. Yeah. The plot makes this movie seem like a jumbled mess, when in some cases it is.
In other cases, it's not, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes that the thing cut out, like a lot of the Bartleby and Loki stuff where they're just straight up murdering people for no reason. Well, for reason, but for no reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's fun to see that stuff, though.
Also, it's weird seeing that they wanted to portray Loki as the angel of death when he's just the trickster.
Yeah, I think Loki is the angel of death in other in other like religions
Scriptures.
and stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So Hunter, you seem to have probably for some reason upon I guess seeing this as your first viewing, you have the shortest bit of notes.
Well, I wasn't able to. My first note is didn't have time to do a lot of notes, but this movie was crazy ridiculous and I liked it. Gonna try to get some notes though, and then I got some notes. So when I was doing this, last night, I was making the Photoshop stuff and posting my other podcast.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time at the beginning to copy down notes, but it was mostly just going to be me reacting to Alan Rickman's not having a penis. So we're good.
By the way, don't forget to send me the thumbnail.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you later, now that I have it. Actually, I'll send it to you right now. Live and in person. Well,
so that way,
person,
at least when I wake up, if I'm up to it, I'll edit the video version.
Boop. There you go.
Thank you.
Tell me if there's anything wrong with it. I think I forgot to make the pictures opacitized, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter because it looks good on the thumbnail regardless.
Yeah. So moving on to my second mid-movie note, having the first one be didn't have time to take a lot of notes, but I took a decent amount. I said cast is crazy for a View Askew movie. Love Kevin Smith. Good for him, man. My notes basically started. Sorry. Right as Chris Rock fell butt naked from the sky. That's where my notes started.
Amazing.
So I said Chris Rock is already the best character, and that's facts. If you don't like Chris Rock in this film, you're a fucking liar.
Oh, come on, man! You're gonna give him your jacket. His member's gonna touch it. Don't worry, big man. I'll try and tuck it back.
Dude, it's so good. Zach said this film is 2 hours. Wish I got home earlier for my other podcast. Gonna be up forever with this one. I ended up getting to bed at like 1:30.
Yeah, when I told you, I didn't know this film was 2 hours.
2 hours and 10 minutes. I was like, oh my god.
That's what kind of killed it for me. I felt like this film could have been like an easy an hour and a half.
Yeah, I feel like if they cut a bunch of scenes with Bartleby, I feel like Bartleby and Loki really didn't even need to be in the movie. You introduce them, and then you show them just traveling. Or you just introduce them, and then you show them on the train, and that's it. And then you go, oh, there they are. But, of course, since he got his friends to do it, he wanted them to be in more scenes, and he wanted to experiment a little bit more and get more stuff in there, so I get it. But there's got to be, like, a good edited version of this that is, like, an hour and a half that I would love to see.
I think the only instance of Loki and Bartleby killing should be the bus. Then everything else should be implied, like them leaving the movies.
Yeah, the bus is fine. The bus is fine because it's them traveling. As long as they're traveling, it's fine. But they go to the movie's office and sit there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing?
See, but what they could do is just have them leave the movie's office with the gun in hand. Have that be implied.
Yeah, or like blood all over them or something.
Yeah.
It just cuts to, like, after Jay and Bob are at movies with Bethany and Rufus. It cuts to Loki and Bartleby walking out of the movie's headquarters, all bloodied, as like an indication, like, oh man, they're gonna kill Jay, Silent Bob, and all them, as like a little good mirror.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it's not that it was a bad scene. It's just that it was unnecessary, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I said these in my next notes. Those hockey kids are annoying. I didn't like them.
Yeah, because every time they showed up, a fucking fly sound effect was on.
And they also just kill people with hockey sticks. Oh. Sorry, I should have chugged the monster. They just kill people with hockey sticks, and I was like, that's absolutely ridiculous. But, whatever. I said Jason Lee is great here, but mostly because he's such a dickhead. His Azrael character is just so dumb.
I love Jason Lee so much.
Jason Lee's great. I'm glad he became an actor through Mallrats.
Well, hell, like my intro to him when I was younger was legit Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Mine was My Name Is Earl. Well, technically it was Alvin and the Chipmunks, but I just saw him as the guy that was in the film. Then I started watching My Name Is Earl, and I was like, this guy is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you find out that Mallrats was his first film because Kevin Smith was like, he's my skateboarder friend. I'll make him a movie star. And I was like, that's good. And then
look
Syndrome.
what he did. He made him a fucking movie star.
Yeah, he's not crazy popular, but he's still in a lot of stuff. He's mostly voice acting nowadays.
Hey, good for him.
Here's one of my favorite notes. Pee-pee hands! Bethany doesn't believe that Rufus is like one of the apostles or someone who is communed with God or Jesus. And she's like, tell me something that no one else knows. And then she's like, you let someone pee in your hands when you were a kid. And then 2 months later, he died of leukemia. And I was like, oh my God. And his name was Brian
He
Johnson.
never told anyone, and neither have you.
Yeah. And then Jay goes, all right, do me. And he goes, you jerk off the most in the entire planet. And then he goes, everybody knows that. Tell me something they don't know. He's like, and most of the time, it's to guys. And then Jay goes,
And then Bob looks over. He goes, only sometimes. Huh?
Hey, man. Is what it is. Watching the View Askew films just makes me want to watch Jay and Silent Bob, the reboot. Okay, hold on. Watching the View Askew films just makes me want to watch Jay and Silent Bob and the reboot. Besides Clerks, those are the best 2 films. That's what it was. Yeah, because Chasing Amy's not bad. Dogma's not bad. It's just, I'd rather watch Clerks 1, because I haven't seen Clerks 2 yet, and the Jay and Silent Bob movies, because those are honestly my favorite Kevin Smith View Askew movies. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, they're just fun.
I actually think Clerks 2 is, like, free on YouTube. Someone uploaded it, and no one has taken it down yet.
That's because Kevin Smith doesn't care.
I think, hold on, let me...
You double check while I read some more of my notes. I said, so many Smith friend Easter eggs. Walt Flanagan, Brian O'Halloran, Jeff, what's his last name? Brian Johnson, not Mike Flanagan, Walt Flanagan, and then Ming Chen all make appearances in this film in one way or another. Brian's at the protest. O'Halloran is one of the news guys. Jeff is the gun salesman. Walt is another protester. Ming Chen is at the strip club. So it's cool to see a bunch of his buddies hanging out. And then obviously we got Ben Affleck and, Damon and Chris Rock and stuff, them being later friends.
So, yep, it's on.
Nice.
It's on there, and so is Dogma.
Damn it! It's all good, though.
And from the looks of it, I think Jason Lee might just play Earl in this, because he has... Well, I think he was filming My Name Is Earl at the time, because he just looks like Earl.
He has a mustache in Clerks too?
Yeah.
Nice. By the way, I added more movies to the notes, and I moved up Suicide Squad. So we'll talk about that right at the end of the show, though.
Yeah.
Just I wanted to let you know. Where was I?
Yeah.
I said Selma Hayek is too hot for this planet. If you told me she was an alien, I wouldn't question it. But she did almost get a Razzie or an equivalent to for this film. So, Selma Hayek is just like way too pretty. And it's unfair to everybody. She's
gorgeous.
And then I was like, if you told me she was an alien from like the planet Baberanus, I'd be like, I'd be like,
cool, man.
Like, I get it. That's cool. I get it. No questions here. So yeah, I'm excited for the Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife. That's gonna be funny. It's Ryan Reynolds, Salma Hayek, and Samuel L. Jackson. Sequel to obviously the Hitman's Bodyguard.
By the way, I can't wait to talk about something about Ryan Reynolds after we get done with after we're done with my notes.
Oh no! Oh, is it the John Wick? Oh my God! Is it the Johnny Cage thing?
Yeah, that's just like insane that we talked about that, and then like immediately after we get done recording, what happens on Twitter?
Yeah, he makes a little Johnny Cage joke. I want it to be The Miz just because I don't want Ryan Reynolds to be in it because I want it to be a little bit lesser known people.
A lot of people are campaigning for Ryan Reynolds, but I think Miz almost might have it in the bag.
Miz makes more sense for Johnny Cage. Don't get me wrong, Ryan Reynolds could do it, but I don't want Ryan Reynolds to just play himself. The Miz playing himself makes sense because The Miz as a character is Johnny Cage.
Yeah. And also, like, if that happens, think of all the publicity WWE can get.
And they can have Johnny Cage fight a match, or they can have Cole Young show up.
Or they can just easily promote this and pop ratings.
Exactly.
Because they fucking need it.
Then they can have guest characters show up in their games. It'll be interesting. So
yeah.
Where was I? I said I don't. I kind of don't care for the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon story. They are great together and have amazing chemistry, but I like Jay and Bob chilling with Chris Rock.
I need to learn. I want to learn more about how Chris Rock got into this movie.
I don't think Chris Rock was very popular at the time, movie-wise. I think he was just a stand-up comedian at this time. This movie definitely didn't put him on the map, but this movie was one of his first ones, I think. This is 1999. This is like right after him and Adam Sandler became boys.
Yeah, because Chris Rock was doing SNL at this time, right?
Yeah, so I think he just got out of SNL and he wanted to do movies, and he teamed up with Adam Sandler and Kevin Smith, and then he did this film and something else. I think. Don't quote me on it, but I remember him leaving SNL to do movies, and then he did like weird ones first, and then he got into just being Chris Rock, and then like and then he dwindled again.
And then the early 2000s, he was caretaker in The Longest Yard.
Oh,
one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies.
I think that might have been the first Adam Sandler movie. I think they were working on that right around the same time they were working on Dogma. But
yeah.
No,
because that one came out in early 2000s because all the wrestlers that were in it.
Yeah.
Trust me on that one. I know I've seen that movie a lot.
Nah, it's a good movie.
It is.
I said, is this the first film the Movies is in?
Yes.
It is? Okay. So I know Clerks 2, they work there, or at least Rosario Dawson's there.
I don't remember them mentioning movies in Mallrats or even Chasing Amy.
Yeah, I remember it being in Clerks 2, though, obviously. I thought it originated from Clerks 2 because they go to work there, or at least they're talking to one of their friends that does work there. So I thought it originated from there. But it looks like it obviously originates from Dogma just being in the background, and then him killing all the executives.
I still can't wait to talk about one thing I've noticed in the movie's office that I have listed down.
Surly duck.
Yep. Slurry duck.
That's what it was. I thought it was surly.
No, it's slurry.
Maybe. Here we go.
Don't tell me it's maybe. It's fucking slurry.
I gotta watch more Ben Affleck films. He's great. Just not watching Geely. Argo is great. Maybe we'll watch Argo on the show. Or Gone Girl. Zach, have you seen The Accountant? That's a solid action flick.
like I said, I've only seen I've only seen like the last.
Yeah. This is right around the same time Serendipity is introduced, and she's talking about how she's like, credited in quotes for 19 of the 20 most highest grossing films of all time at the time. And then she goes, the only one that she hasn't done was Home Alone, but someone sold their soul to do that. I said, have we done Home Alone yet? We gotta. So I put Home Alone Home Alone on the list too in the Christmas section.
I'm looking. Okay, so it's Slurly.
It is slurry. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was slurry.
I'm fucking right.
Next note is a shit demon. Kevin, why?
Yeah.
It is whatever. Jay and Bob do a lot in this film. Never knew this. Jay and Silent Bob are like the main characters. It's really cool.
Well, because they are the prophets.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie before, and I knew that they were in it, but I didn't know that they were such a huge part. I thought they were like their normal Jay and Silent Bob characters, where they just show up in the background for 2 seconds, snoochie boochies, and then leave.
Well, like, essentially, Jay and Silent Bob kind of got the popularity, say, in the way that Steve Urkel got for Family Matters.
Yeah, where they were in the background, and then he became a main character.
Yeah.
They were actually going to stop using him after season 1. Kind of like how with Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. They were going to kill Jesse at the end of the first season, and then people liked him so much that they kept him around for the whole show, and they made a movie about him.
I'm so... El Camino, good movie.
El Camino, phenomenal movie.
So good.
Yeah. I loved it a lot. I wish there was a little bit more, but
same.
It is what it is. But we did get Walt. It's just we didn't get Walt after he, quote-unquote, died, which sucks. I wish we got confirmation that he was alive with the theories. It would have been fun. But it be how it be.
Well, hey, it's open-ended, and I like it that way.
Maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because Jesse Plemons was great in that film, too. Oh, man. I said a Madman toy. That's crazy. Hashtag comic nerd. Madman is just a character that was created by Mike Allred. He was the lightning bolt thing that was behind Azrael when they were in the toy store. Little red lightning bolt guy. I ended up looking it up. Those are real toys. That was cool.
That's dope.
I don't know if they made them just as like little nods to Mallrats, but it was cool. Kind of like how they portray religion. I agree a lot with what they're saying. Wish people would stop being big babies and just have a logical conversation about it. About it all. And how it's just a bunch of stories about a chill-ass Egyptian dude.
Yeah.
He was a
100%.
he was a carpenter who was a dude. I've explained this theory to Courtney a lot, and she's big into religion, and she hates that I talk about it. But hear me out. Jesus was a hipster. Think about it. Think about it. He wore sandals before it was cool. He was a carpenter. His whole turning water into wine, he just experimented with fermenting wine, dude. He was just a hipster. He just did crafts.
God, I can't even say Jesus Christ or God damn it.
Am I wrong? Anyway, I know this will get me a lot of slack from any of the people who are listening that do happen to be religious, but like, just think about it. He was
Watch this be the one
definitely a
episode.
hipster.
Like, someone digs up, episode 40 of Blocked Off as Losers.
Hunter just goes apeshit on religion.
Hunter says this at like 46 minutes.
Jesus was a hipster.
In something seconds.
Hey, man.
God.
Jesus was a hipster. Just think about it. Final 3 notes. I got Larry and Barry. Lamau. It was funny that instead of Loki and Bartleby, they were just Larry and Barry.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck does come off a little gay. Am I wrong?
Well,
not in that movie, just in general, the way he acts.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Ben Affleck. If you told me Ben Affleck was gay, I wouldn't question it. I've seen him date really attractive women, like Ana de Armas and stuff, but I could see him dating Matt Damon or other guys. It works.
It's kind of like the Tom Cruise thing.
Yeah,
like,
Tom Cruise could be gay. Whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just like you can see it. Like with Neil Patrick Harris. I didn't know Neil Patrick Harris was gay, but mostly because when I started watching How I Met Your Mother, I didn't know who Neil Patrick Harris was. So I saw him being a womanizer. And I was like, he's probably not a womanizer in real life. I mean, obviously. But he can't be.
He plays a really good straight guy.
And then they're like, oh, he's super gay, has kids and a husband. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. I was a little surprised, but, you know.
Yeah.
Doogie Howser. What are you going to do?
Hell yeah.
And my final note, it said, wasn't terrible. Wish we got more of the battle at the end, though. This kind of just cuts to them having a little scuffle, and then it cuts to the end of the fight with all the dead people. And I was like, okay. So, that's all I got.
All right.
What you got, love?
Yes. So, are these kids about to beat up an old man?
Facts.
Then my next note. Yep.
Yep, they beat up God. He's playing skee ball.
George Carlin as a cardinal. This feels weird, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, man.
Retire the crucifix.
Facts.
Meme a Jesus.
Yeah, dude. Buddy Christ.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are the best duo. I need more with them.
Yep.
This was the opening dialogue where we're introducing them. I love the dialogue between them. I think. Oh, and also this is when we're in the church and the pastor was reading off a news article. As someone who has gone to church, that actually does happen. A pastor just reads a random article or talks about a random instance in his life.
Weird.
It's just weird. Hans Gruber is doing well.
Hans Gruber.
He became the voice of God after falling off the building.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's his redemption.
I do wonder how they got Alan Rickman for this film.
I think they just asked him and he said, yeah. Oh, no, there's actually a note. I don't think I included it. But he sent the script to Alan Rickman, and Alan Rickman said he'll only join under 2 conditions. He said the first one is if they'll stay faithful to the script, as in they don't want to change it, because I guess Alan Rickman liked it. And the second one, he wanted to know if the wings were real or CGI, and I think that they were practical. So
That's just dope.
Yeah, so Alan Rickman was like, I like this film. He's like, I'll be in it. He's like, just don't make it bad. And then it wasn't too bad.
Jay and Silent Bob are fucking prophets.
Facts.
Why is Randall working at a pawn shop?
It's a gun store, I think.
It looked like a pawn shop. It looked like because they're just like random odds and ends.
Maybe it was. The note said it was a gun shop, but it is what it is. It's cool.
John Hughes is a legend. Chill with that, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
This is when they're bringing up how like how Silent Bob just likes watching all
John
the,
Hughes films and crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. With 16 candles, motherfucker.
They brought up movies are bullshit. Okay, yeah.
Thanks.
Naked Chris Rock.
Oh, yeah, it just falls out of the sky.
Salma Hayek, a serendipity in the strip club, is perfect.
She also did From Dusk Till Dawn, I believe, as a stripper. And I put that in the movie as one of our horror movies because I was like, I want to watch that. It's a half Tarantino, not Tarantino film. And also Salma Hayek is in it.
Also, I forgot to mention, in the airport, Matt Damon's character is talking about walruses and Tusk. And I was starting to get, like, my eyes started twitching. Because I realized we have to watch Tusk.
No, it's not part of the View Askew universe, technically.
But we still have to watch Tusk.
Oh,
I was twitching.
At some point we can watch Tusk, but we're doing View Askew first, then we're going to go and maybe touch on Kevin Smith movies later on. Because we don't got to do Yoga Hosers either.
And then, something in the back, poster called Slurry Duck. Now I wonder, is this a show about a duck that just has a bunch of slurs?
That's facts, dude. I'd watch it.
Let me just make sure I'm right again about this.
I thought it was Surly Duck, but it could be Slurry Duck. But Tusk and Yoga Hosers are part of Kevin Smith's Canadian trilogy. His third and final Canadian trilogy film is going to be called Moose Jaws. It's basically Jaws with a giant moose, and that's supposed to be where Silent Bob canonically dies.
Oh wait, so it is Surly Surly, but I'm just gonna keep it as Slurry.
I like Slurry Duck. I think that would be something interesting.
Because I to be honest, I think at first glance I was like, oh, it must say this.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it past Kevin Smith to have a poster like that in that movie.
Oh yeah, dude's a madman.
And then I brought this up. Didn't Matt Damon play Loki in the Play remake in Thor Ragnarok?
He did.
A shit demon. This is when my descent to like this film being, was happening. Why is this movie 2 fucking hours?
I don't know. How
does this have such a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes? And this movie is so far making me tired. Like, holy shit, I've almost passed out twice on my desk while watching.
Hey, man,
and I'm being honest with that. I was yawning maybe towards, like, the latter, like...
Oh, it does get a little slow, so you're not wrong.
But that is all of my notes. Hunter, read us this review.
So, on Rotten Tomatoes, this film has an approval rating of 67% based on 127 reviews, with an average rating of 6.25 out of 10, and an audience score of 85%. The site's critical consensus reads, provocative and audacious, Dogma is an uneven but thoughtful religious satire that's both respectful and irreverent. I can agree with that.
Yeah. Hunter, because you gave it the good review.
Yeah, you gave it a significantly worse review. So, Jason Zingal from Bullseye.com. It's too bad Smith's trademark humor got in the way because while the film definitely has its flaws, there's no denying that it also had the ability to serve as an intellectual debate about religion, which is why I think one of my notes covered. I was like, yeah, this works. I like it. So, okay, Zachariah, what is the
I gave this a significantly bad review. Yeah, I'll get into why.
You know, like...
This is from Todd McCarthy of Verity. I think we've read a variety, but I think we've read some Todd McCarthy reviews. Mm-hmm. A very vulgar pro-faith comedy rather than a sacrilegious goof. Dogma is an extraordinarily uneven film that significantly cutting might be able to transform into a playable one.
Yeah.
I think that kind of means like if you were to cut some parts out of the film, it at least would have some like rewatchability in a way.
It does have some of that, yeah. But yeah.
So Hunter, what did you give this film?
So
and why?
Before I get to that, I don't know if they say Snoochie Boochies or Snoogans. I know Snoogans is something they say.
Snoochie Boochies is on the beanie of Jay.
Okay, they do. Snoochie Boochies is a Jay and Silent Bob thing. Yes. Okay, I wanted to make sure because I always say it like it's a Jay and Silent Bob thing, and I know they say Snoogans. But
Snoochie Boochies.
I thought it was Snoochie Boochies, and I say Snoochie Boochies all the time. So, anyway, I gave it, obviously, 6.5 Snoochie Boochies out of 10. For my explanation, I said it's definitely not my favorite Smith film, but it's aged a lot better than a lot of them, to be sure. Sucks that they have way too many characters to keep track of. Overall, though, it's definitely better than some, but I could go without a rewatch for quite some time, unless they cut it down to an hour and a half. While I can watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or Clark a million times. So,
All right. So, be a note, I have a novel of an explanation.
it's not too long.
But so I gave this movie 4 Mighty Duck fucks out of 10.
Hell yeah.
My rating and my explanation is I love Kevin Smith with all my heart, but this film is not it. I'm just not in my explanation. I'm saying this movie it's not bad, it's not okay, it's just nah to me. For starters, this movie is an hour too long. Also, the acting in some areas are kind of bad. The only ones that steal the show for me are Alan Rickman and the Legendary Boys, Damon and Affleck. I'm happy that this film is kind of erased from history, but also sad. As this film, as this film is bad, but yet so insightful, it does deserve to be talked about in some regards. If by the grace of God, no pun intended, with this film, that Smith hears this episode in particular, don't let this film kind of be the Batman and Robin or even The Room to your kind of film expense. Dogma was a learning experience in a way of what not to do with films. Lastly, I do see this film as Smith flying too close to the sun, once again, no pun intended, with his success in the 3 films that he has made.
I think you are wrong in this, man. I like this film. Do I love it? No. Will I rewatch it in the next 4 years? Not unless I'm doing another movie podcast. Or I'm talking to Kevin Smith and we're doing a stoned rewatch of all of his films. Like, I don't see myself watching this, but it's not a bad film. Like I said, if they cut it down, if they cut a couple scenes out, I think this movie would be awesome.
I do have a feeling that this film is probably better to watch high than it is.
Dude, every Kevin Smith film is better to watch high. What are you on? What are you on, drugs?
Well, this film is better to watch probably high. Everything else I can watch sober.
Oh yeah, most of them are pretty good high.
But yeah, I said, like, for me, this film is just, to me. It's like it's nor here nor there. It's just like in the middle.
No, I feel you.
And like I said, I give my explanation as like because I had thought mainly going into this that like Kevin Smith like didn't really want much of this film to be out there.
I don't know, man.
As much, which is why I thought the reason why it was like no longer on streaming platforms.
I just think that it was a whole Miramax deal thing.
But like I said, the only saving graces for me of this film were definitely Alan Rickman and Matt and Ben.
Well, obviously they're the big ones.
But guys, I think that will do it for us. Thank you all for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at Box Office Losers and on Twitter at Box Office Loser. You can also follow us on TikTok at Box Office Losers for up-to-date news, teasers, or if I just feel like posting on the TikTok account. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, wherever you're listening to it. We're pretty much almost everywhere besides Podbean, I think.
I think I put us on Podbean. I don't know. Not 100%.
Probably not yet.
We'll see.
You can leave a review. It helps with the algorithm. Share it with your friends, family, whatever. But with that said, Hunter, where can we find you?
You could find me at Scruffy Mooseman on 99% of the platforms. I don't know 100% if I'm on all of them, but I know that's where you can find me for the most part. You can also find me every Wednesday at Android's Amazing Podcast. It's a comic book podcast I do with my co-host / co-worker. This week we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier with special guest John Sansone. He came from the MCU Beyond Infinity podcast. Just everything MCU, all in that. And you can find me every Thursday at the Farthest Galaxy, which is a Star Wars podcast that I do with my boy. So that's it. That's where you can find me. But Zach, where can we find you?
You can find me literally everywhere on 100% of all social media platforms at Dark Shadow Zake. I have coined that new username to a T. You can also find me every Thursday on the Sports Hit List, covering this week's AEW. I'll be doing that later tonight, recording that. It's going to be a long episode because I have to watch a very intense episode of AEW.
Nice.
But guys, we do appreciate you all for watching. We are now episode 40. I'm surprised we have stuck this long on it.
Hey man, it's fun.
Yeah, because normally I bow out towards this part, and Hunter knows that with exceptions to the From Under the Ring podcast.
I mean, hey, when it starts getting boring, we'll stop. Right now,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. Guys, thank you all for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Goodbye.